Welcome to Sew Very Easy. My name is Laura, and in 1997, my girlfriend was gifted this silly little Santa. And I think this would be a fun project to try to duplicate. So let's see how it turns out. So this little Santa just has a fabric beard, and the fabric has been ripped. He has some kind of an oval shape for the face, and a little hat with a hanging cord. So what I've done is I've tried to create something that I think would be similar. His hat is going to start with 10 inches. So from a regular piece of paper, I've gone from here to 10 inches, up 10 inches, and have gone over and just have made the curve. And I've done this little bit of an egg shape for his face. And this is going to be an opening. I'll put this in the description if you do want to give it a try. And if you are going to print this out, be sure to do it on your computer, not your phone or your tablet. For some reason, it seems to work better. So I have that little hat cut out. I'm going to take this little curve and I'm going to sew it on 2 pieces of fabric. And I just happen to have white. Stitch all the way around and leave that opening. And then we're going to turn it inside out and just stuff some little fiber fill in there. Now we could hand stitch that closed, but I am going to be using everyone's favorite, the hot glue gun. So I'm just going to close up that seam instead of stitching it. And I'm not overly concerned because that little opening is going to be under his hat. So now I need to work on his hat. So I'm going to fold those long sides together and stitch a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Turn that right side out. I'm just going to finger press that, and that side seam is going to go along the side. So this is just going to fit inside. And we're going to be able to glue this on. The little hat comes down on a point with a little bell, so I'll glue that together. And hold that till that glue dries a bit. Now I need to do his fun beard. And that beard is just ripped muslin. I have a bleached muslin, so I'll be using that. I've cut 6 inches, and this is about 21 inches long. So I'm just going to rip some pieces. To do that, I'm just going to put some little cuts in it. And I'm not worrying about those sizes. Now I'm going to rip that fabric until I get close to the end. Oops, and if you rip through, that's okay. You could do a row of stitching to prevent the tearing through, but this is just going to be a fun project. So I have these little strips that I'm going to be able to glue all the way around to make his beard. And I definitely think we're going to need a couple of rows. So I'm just going to do a line of glue and pull that strip around, and then do a second one. Now if you have children making this, you could just use any type of a craft glue. We need to give them a little bit of a mustache. Just take some extra strips, fold those in half, and put them where it would be under his nose. Let's tear another strip so we can give him some hair coming out of the hat. And now that I think of it, we could have put the hair out of his hat first, but this will work just the same. For the hat band, they've just taken another piece of fabric and they have just wrinkled it and glued it as they went along. So we could do that, or if you happen to have a little piece of fur, you could add that. And I happen to have just a little piece of fur from a little stuffed animal. I always like to keep those little pieces. So I'm going to glue that around his hat. My Santa's going to be really cold. It looks like his hat's going to be over his eyes. But I'm going to take some little marker and draw some eyes and find a red bead or a button for his nose. And a little Sharpie for his eyes will do the trick. So I have no red beads, but I do have a red button. It's a little bit big, but that's okay. Let's glue that on. He does have some nice cute cheeks, so let's just get a little bit of our cosmetics and give him some cheeks. Now we need to put a hanging string. I have this heavy decorative thread that I'm going to use. Nice big darning needle. And I just loop that through the back of his little hat. Tie that off. Trim off the ends. And my Santa is now done. But I would have to say, that's not a bad reproduction. I think this would be a fun project for children to do. You could pre-make a pile of hats, have their faces done, so they're just able to glue them together. Use some tacky glue, all sorts of ribbons, buttons, beads, and some decorations. And kids will definitely have fun ripping all of that fabric. So I would have to say, this didn't turn out so bad. Now I probably would put his hair on first and maybe some eyes and that nose before I put his hat on. But either way, it turned out really cute. So I've taken the old and I've turned it into a new. Whoops! A quick and fun project to make, and we still have time before Christmas. Merry Christmas, everyone!